So welcome back. This is kind of the first real tutorial on how to make a wheel in Creo. So we left off with just a basic round cylinder, okay, and it's a solid object right now. And what we want to do is start carving this out and actually making it look like a wheel. So what I'm going to do to start off with is I'm actually going to put an axle in. So I'm going to click on this surface. Actually, I'll press Control D to reorientate it. Okay, yep, that is the front. Okay, so I'm going to click on the surface, and you can see it's going to go dark green. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is go to Extrude, and it's going to go back into the editing or the sketcher view, and I'm going to make it into a two-dimensional view, and I'm going to scroll in. I'm going to scroll quite close in because the axle hole is quite small. So here's how you kind of do a bunch of the different little tools here. So first off, I'm going to draw a line. Okay, and I'm not going to worry about how big it is right now. I'm just going to click on it and kind of design, part of the actual axle. So I'm only going to draw 1/4 of it because I can mirror it across these other lines. So once I've done my basics, I'm going to click Select, and I'm going to start going here, and I'm going to change some numbers. So this number here, I know for the axle, I want it to be 0.023. Okay, I know for the angle, because there's 6 sides, I want it 135 degrees. I'm just hitting Enter. Okay, and I know this one here also I want to be 0.023. Okay, and finally, this number right here, the distance from the center to the outside, I know that I want it to be 0.055. Okay, so those are my basic numbers. You'll notice that here it doesn't round, it only puts 2 decimal places. If I double click on it, you can actually see there is 3. Okay, so there's my first part. I've got 1/4 of the axle. Now what I'm going to do is I need to mirror it across this line, but I need a center line to show that this is where I actually want to mirror it from. So I click up here to center line, and again when I click, I'm left mouse clicking, and I click on left mouse click on the center line. You can see how it kind of snaps there. So I click on it, and you can see the line, and as I move it, you can see the line coming down, and I'm clicking there, and I'm going to create another center line here, and I'm going to click over and put it there. So now I have 2 center lines drawn, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this up a bit. So I'm going to hold the left mouse button down, and I'm going to hold the Shift key down, and I'm moving it sideways. Okay, so I can actually get the view of everything. So now that I have my 2 center lines done, here and here, and I've got my quarter done, I'm going to highlight my stuff, and I press the select to do this. And then up here, this one right here is the mirror tool. So when I click on it, okay, and then I click on the center line, I want to mirror it, it goes across. Then I highlight again, I click on mirror, and I'm going to mirror it across this center line. You can see it highlight, and it mirrors across there. Okay, and that there is the shape of my axle. Now I click on OK, and I'm going to scroll out now with the mouse. Okay, so you can see the wheel, and I'm going to turn it, so I'm holding my left mouse button down, or sorry, the center mouse button down, and I'm rotating it around, and you can see that the axle right now goes out. Well, I want it to go into the wheel, and it's also 0.59. So I can take this number, I can double click it, and I can say, well, I really want it 0.75, so 3/4 of an inch long, but I want it to go the opposite direction. So I come up to here to the change depth direction, click on it. You'll see it goes, and you can see it changes, but it's not removed. So I got to remove the material using this here. Okay, and there's the material removed now, and you can actually see the hole in there. Now, I can change the depth simply by typing it up here as well. So I'm going to go 0.5 deep. You can see that changed. And when I hit the glasses here, I can actually see what it's going to look like. Okay, so there's what it looks like. And if that looks good, I'm going to click on OK. So that is how to add the axle hole into your wheel. Now still, right now, this doesn't look much like a wheel. So we're going to have to modify a few things still and make some shapes into it. But that's going to be the next tutorial. Oh, by the way, over here in the model tree, let's click on it, and let's call this the axle underscore hole, so we know what it is if we want to edit it later. Okay, and that concludes this part.